You know, this guy's alright. I'd love to see him on a future season. Surely we have some sort of season featuring a lot of returning players in the near future. And it won't be a super big milestone that makes CBS feel pressured into ensuring that they cast only the biggest and best the franchise has to offer, leading to us inevitably seeing castaways we've already seen numerous times before. That'd be crazy, right? Right? You know, I'm really enjoying Survivor 48. I love the cast, I'm enjoying the editing, and I think they're doing a pretty bang-up job. But you know what I wish it was even more? A new era All-Stars season. And as someone who thinks most returning player seasons are kinda mediocre, with Survivor 50 hotly approaching us, I realise there's a small problem. We haven't had a returning player season since Game Changers. That was 14 seasons ago. And no, Winners at War does not count. That season only had like 37 castaways they could actually choose from at the time of casting. We have so many seasons now that have basically no representation. No one from Heroes vs Healers vs Hustlers all the way up to Survivor 48 has had a chance to cement themselves as a Survivor legend. And so today, I'm going on a bit of an unhinged rant about what makes someone a Survivor legend, and how I think Survivor has really shot themselves in the foot a bit, waiting this long for the opportunity to bring so many castaways back onto our screen. Let's get into it. Our first returning player season was Survivor All-Stars, all the way back in 2004. The very best that the first 8 seasons of the show had to offer. All the legends were there. You had Richard Hatch, our very first winner. Sue Hawk, the creator of the most iconic Final Tribal Council suites of all time. Rob Cesternino, master strategist, someone who really pioneered flipping on your allies to further your own game. Colby Donaldson, the challenge beast. Rupert, a man so popular he ended up on the Israeli version of Survivor as a reward.
My fingertips and my toes are not strong enough to climb straight up a coconut tree. I got 2 steps. I'm like, there's no way I gotta go 50, you know. I didn't want to break my neck.
The star power of this cast was immeasurable. Oh, also Boston Rob and Amber were there too. You know, that guy who was the Merds boot in Marquesas? The guy who was voted out just before the big flip happened and the season really kicked into high gear? Why is he on Survivor All-Stars again? Honestly, this is basically the thesis statement of the video. If Boston Rob was never given the chance to return here, we end up with a completely different Survivor landscape. It is very rare for someone to become a bona fide Survivor legend after their first appearance, and even if they do, they usually need a second or third to really cement their legacy. But you know, that's just one example. Surely most Survivor legends come about after their first season, right? A lot of them do. Yowman was pretty legendary after Fiji, so much so that his return in Micronesia was entirely justified, where he came face to face with Parvati? Wait, why did they bring back Parvati? Isn't she the girl who got naked in the hot tub with Yule and Ozzy? I mean, she was alright. I don't know if I'd exactly call her a fave.
10th person voted out of Survivor fans versus favorites, and the second member of our jury, Ozzy.
Oh wait, never mind, she's absolutely cooking them. My bad, I was unfamiliar with her game. But again, that's what returning player seasons do. We get the chance to take smaller characters who showed massive potential and let them become Survivor legends, like in Heroes vs Villains. You know who became a legend after Heroes vs Villains? Sandra Diaz Twine. Sandra was respected well enough, probably seen around the same level as Vesepia in terms of winners, which to some people is quite high, but probably not to the general public. And her winning a second time, while humiliating Russell Hantz and beating another legend in Parvati, did wonders for her legacy. It gave us the Queen of Survivor. And not even 6 seasons later, they followed it up with Survivor Caramoan. What a season! It gave us the ability to steal lovingly at Cochrane as he showed up to basically every reunion show for the next 14 seasons. Okay, look, they can't all be winners. But hey, 1 season after that gave us Blood vs Water. This is a bad example for proving my point. I'm pretty sure they cast the season based on who had the most interesting loved one. You cannot tell me Monica comes back if she didn't have Brad Culpepper on retainer. This is not a dig at Monica. I think she's a neat lady. Although, Blood vs Water did give us Tyson redeeming himself and again cementing himself as a legend of the game. And 4 seasons later we got Survivor Cambodia, which gives us what I consider to be the biggest Survivor legend glow-up of all time. Kelly Wentworth. Who here cared about Kelly Wentworth after San Juan del Sur? Be honest with me, I won't judge. She was fine, she was correctly targeted by Drew for being a massive player, but didn't really do that much to impact the overall season. But Survivor Cambodia, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I love about returning player seasons. You've taken someone who had a bit of potential and given them a chance to really show their stuff. Sure, you'll get a few duds like Monica or Kelly Wigglesworth, but that's always going to happen. And if from it we can get players like Wentworth, then it's simply worth it. She was so good, they brought her back for Edge of Extinction before anyone from Heroes vs Healers vs Hustlers Ghost Island, or David vs. Goliath had the chance to be brought back. And I know it's not everyone's favourite season, because it's not a very good season, but Game Changers cemented Lucina's legacy. You see, the first time she played like a cop. The second time though, I don't know if you're gonna believe this, but she actually played like a criminal.
Last time I played like a cop, look where it got me. This time I'm playing like a criminal, and we'll see where it gets me.
Now, if only they'd brought Troy's End back for this season, that could have been a pretty zany run in its own right. So what's my point, and how does it relate to Survivor 50? Well, I feel as if there are so many potential legends. We're sitting on a legend volcano just ready to erupt. You've already got some candidates that are obvious for a return. Christian, Angelina, Davey. Honestly, I can just fill this segment with most castaways from David vs. Goliath and I'm sure you'd probably be happy about it. You've got new era stars like Jesse, Carolyn, Andy, Genevieve, Omar, and Emily Flippin, financial analysts who could make or break their legacies with a second chance. You've got some castaways that, given a second chance, have a pretty reasonable chance of cementing themselves as Survivor legends. The Noble One, Lauren Rimmer, Xander, Kelly, Julie, Carolyn, Soul, just to name a few. And I even have some off-the-wall picks that I think would be pretty fun to see return in an All-Stars or Second Chances type season. Jenny, Daniel, Kashan, Sarah, also even including all the one-time players from before Game Changers who could potentially come back after all these years. But by creating the new era and not having a single new era returnee, no, Bruce does not count, you don't get the chance to find out who the legends are. The closest thing we have to a new era legend is Carolyn, and that's in part because of her appearance on The Traitors, which I haven't seen by the way. I basically watched one show. I think we all know what show that is. And herein lies my problem with Survivor 50. It probably should be a new era All-Stars, or at least a general low-stakes All-Star season like Game Changers, except not at all like Game Changers actually. But it can't be that, it's Survivor 50, it has the potential to be so many greater things. It can't just be a new era All-Stars season because castaways from Heroes vs. Healers vs. Hustlers up to Island of the Idols, as if we'll see anyone from Island of the Idols, also need their chance to become Survivor staples. But it still can't just be an All-Star season from post 34, because it needs to be a celebration of 25 years of Survivor. It needs to represent everything over the last 2.5 decades that has made the show we all love so much. But it can't just be a bunch of Survivor legends like Sari and Sandra and Boston Rob, because if it is, we won't see anything new. We'll just be retreading ground already tread and telling stories already told, some of which we've seen not even 4 years ago. But also, it does need to be something the fans want to see, and as much as I pretend to be the biggest Survivor fan, I am but one person. Maybe the masses are actually perfectly fine seeing Ozzy, Rupert and Amanda again. I'll still watch it. I just wish more castaways from the new era had been given their chance to shine before Survivor 50. I wish that if we get the likes of Q and D and Andy on Survivor 50, they wouldn't feel out of place standing next to the likes of Tyson and Jerry and Wentworth. But maybe I'm worried about nothing. Either way, I'm excited to see if Survivor 50 can overcome what I believe is a legendary problem. But what do you think? Should Survivor even do New Era All-Stars? What should Survivor 50 look like? Let me know. Until next time, I've been Henry Hickman Survivor, and I'll see you at the next Survivor 50 vote.